On the Align podcast today. I'm here with Matt, and tell me a little bit about you and your kind of journey, where you're at, and your company.
Yeah, totally. So I'll start with company. Work with Bone Dry Roofing here in
Yeah,
Indianapolis, Indiana. That's our headquarters. We
nice.
do have locations in 9 states, about 20 different locations, $200 million roofing contractor. We
Okay.
estimate we're probably the second largest family-owned roofing contractor, residential roofing contractor in the United States. So
Oh
that's super.
wow! Congratulations.
That's super fun. PE, there's been a lot of movement within PE and acquisitions and everything
Yes.
happening in most of home services, as everyone knows. So it's
Right.
that's all been a journey, but Gene's been very focused on keeping this family owned and just being able to create a really good customer experience. Uh,
Right. I think people prefer that too.
Absolutely. I think there's something to be said for it.
Hmm.
Specifically when you're able to keep that focus on the team and the customers, I think it just creates some alignment.
Right.
So that's always great to see.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's fantastic.
yeah, so that's the company. We're anywhere up in Detroit, Michigan, down to Punta Gorda, Florida, over to Colorado. We're in the Fort Collins, Colorado area. So
Yeah.
it's we got a pretty good footprint, but we just love serving customers and putting on good roofs. So uh,
Right. Right. And where's your home base out of again?
Indianapolis. Yeah.
Indianapolis. And do you do any East Coast, West Coast at all?
We do none on the West Coast. Our only East Coast is a very southeast coast of Edgewater,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
which is south of Jacksonville.
Right, right,
So that's
right,
as far east as we go, but nothing in the traditional East Coast uh,
right.
area. Um,
Yeah, and y'all strictly focus on residential, or do you do commercial as well?
we do commercial, but it's about 25% of our total company
Okay.
revenue.
Okay.
And Jean's daughter runs
Oh,
uh,
nice.
that division of the company. So, um, yeah, so we are a mix of both, but primarily residential.
And how long have you been in the business?
Yeah, so I've been in home services for 15 years. I've been in roofing too.
Oh,
So I'm still relatively new to roofing. I've been with the company for 2 years, and this was my first entry
nice.
into the roofing industry. I've primarily been in the HVAC and plumbing industry before this.
Oh, okay. So you just know a lot about the home industry in particular.
Just homeowners that need served.
There you go. So is most of y'all's clientele then like repairs, or is it new work? What
Yeah.
is the majority of your
Yeah.
development?
So in terms obviously revenue, yeah, the roof replacements take the lead there, but when you're talking about number of jobs, repairs definitely take over.
Okay.
We are It's interesting because a lot of roofing contractors like to really focus on the re-roofs, right? That's where all the
Right.
money is. That's where they're going after that $15,000 roof on every
Yeah.
day. And really our approach is different, and Gene's very purposeful about it.
Okay.
Is like we will 100% repair a customer's roof if
Right.
that what's best for them. Because our strategy is if we've done a good job with repairs over the last so many years, when it comes to time for them to need a new roof, we're there. We're there to
Right.
help them. We've earned their trust already. We've earned their business. So it's really a strategic move of like, listen, we're not going to run away from repairs. Yeah, they may not drive as much revenue, but that's our entire lifeline essentially of the business. So yeah,
Wow.
it's a good
So
healthy
you
mix.
guys, so that's, yeah, because I mean, you can't have the other without being able to provide that service as well. So it's
Absolutely.
probably really instrumental for your business and your how y'all go about your everyday, world and marketing and
For sure.
everything else.
For sure.
Um, so you just started there for 2 years. How do you like the roofing industry versus what you were doing before?
It's interesting. It's been a little bit of a change. Not really necessarily when it comes to who we're
Yeah.
targeting or creating
Right.
that trust or that relationship with, but really the revenue cycles more than anything. HVAC, I could see a lead come in, and within 3 days, I knew if it was going to be a repair or replacement,
Yeah.
and the job was done. Whereas roofing, if insurance gets involved and you've got to start
It's
that
everything.
that
Yeah.
process, it can be a 3-month process. So
Right.
And even one that's going retail, it may be a month before a roof gets put on. So
Yeah.
that revenue cycle has been something to get used to, because it's just much longer than I'm used to. So you have to really
Yeah,
keep an
I
eye
see.
on that as you're looking at on the performance side of things. You
Right.
just
And what do you
really
do within the
gotta
company?
personally.
Yeah.
Uh, so I am the chief marketing officer here.
Okay.
All of our entire marketing team. So we've got about 11 folks downstairs in the marketing team,
It's a
and then
lot.
the call center team. Yeah, we're super fortunate to have really great people.
Yeah.
And then we have the call center, which is right on the other side of the wall of me. We have about 14 to 16 team members over there, and it's a centralized call center that takes any overflows for our locations if they do happen to have an agent that is a call center agent that is able to take calls. If they're busy or occupied doing another task, all the call will overflow to the indie call center. So we take about 60% of the overall company phone calls
Oh,
here
wow.
in Minneapolis. So those are
Yeah.
the two primary functions that report up through me, and then sales follow up and some of the other smaller functions within the business. But that's my day in and day out. That's what those are the teams I focus on.
Well, as far as you're the chief marketing director, right? So what does y'all's marketing picture look like, and how are you reaching those customers? I guess what distinguishes you guys from some of the other people in the industry, and what has allowed y'all to be so successful?
Yeah, so I would say a lot of it comes back to our reputation in the space, because
Hmm.
Gene is always focused on making sure that we take care of the customer. Whether that
Right.
means if we screw up, we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
We hope not to, but if we do, we're going to 100% make it right by the customer. And just that mentality across the organization has really allowed us to build a strong reputation.
Huh.
And then just making moves into key markets when there may be a storm. We'll go help out customers. We don't do the storm chasing,
Yeah.
a lot of the industry does. We don't do that. We're retail. If we go into a market, we're staying there, and we're going to be
Right.
for the long haul. So it really comes back to the reputation. But now, from the marketing side of things,
Yeah.
we just have a very diverse offering. So my background is traditionally on the digital side of things, so SEO and then the customer acquisition tactics and lead
Right.
gen. However, I will say that we do a lot of, and we're moving more into traditional marketing methods. So I'm thinking of broadcast TV,
Yeah.
OTT. I could see us eventually making a move into radio. We have billboards across several of our markets.
That's fun.
So trying to make sure that I think what we do as marketers, right? We're just so focused on what that return on ad spend is of the digital channel and the
Yeah.
digital platform, that we forget about the lift that can be provided to that if we have a strong brand and a strong top of mind awareness campaign.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to jump out of billboards. Everyone wants to jump out of TV, radio, because you can't always track it as detailed and
Mm-hmm.
accurate as you can the digital channels. But man, the power that those give to your baseline of digital results, it's just really impactful overall to the company and your marketing strategy. So um and then I would say really it's one thing that I'm really proud of here that we've been able to do is focus on that customer journey. And really, if you saw to the left side of me here,
Uh-huh.
there is our customer journey and note cards stuck on the wall, taped on the wall,
Mm-hmm.
what the different technology pieces are, who's involved, uh, where that may change in the funnel, where we may lose someone. Okay, then where do we find a mechanism or
Right.
tactic to be able to keep them in the funnel? So we're constantly reviewing the journey and finding ways that we can strengthen it, better communicate with our customers, utilize different platforms to
Right.
communicate with them, whether it be text message, email, phone call. Being able to just be really strategic about it in the overall approach. But most importantly, keeping the customer at the center of that, right? We're not a high pressure sales organization.
Right.
That's not who we'll ever be. But
Yeah.
what we do want to do is really look at what that experience is to give
Mm-hmm.
everyone a reason to rave about us, to their neighbors, families, and friends. So that's been one thing that specifically this year two of me being here, has been really exciting is A, understanding the customer journey and B, executing to make sure that we make it as solid as possible.
Nice. Yeah, only 5% of roofers actually make it after 3 years. So there's something to be said with having, client focused experience and that connection that you
Yeah.
keep. Yeah, is huge in the business, I think, especially on your residential side. And then your contractor side, it's a little bit different. But those relationships, again, are always the most important thing you can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, it's not been a quick journey. It's not like this was an overnight success story, right?
Yeah.
Gene has been in ownership of this company and growing this company for 36 years. So
Yeah, it
it's
takes
taken
time.
time. It's taken time, absolutely, but it's got to be very deliberate time to be able to grow to a company to this size because it does change. It does change just the things, right? The systems and processes you need to be
Right.
doing with the organization.
Well, so with, we have people on here, to talk about how technology and whatnot has changed the industry and is going to be changing the industry. You've got your AI coming out now, and well, it's been out, but it's really, hitting the streets hard right now. And just technology, tech stacks, the way automation works and all those things. How do you think that's going to affect the industry, and how do y'all utilize it right now?
Yeah, so I would say um, we're in a period of it's really messy right now,
Mhm.
right? And you can have all these different bots, you can have all these different technologies within your tech stack, agents, all of that, and so it creates a little bit of messiness right now. I think it will eventually, as things progress and things mature, I think it's going to become a lot more clean. I think you're going
Mhm.
to have clear winners that are going to come out of this in regards to the tech stack. Um, but I also think we need to be careful and not completely lose the human element uh,
Right.
of what we do, which I have a feeling, and this is just through, the connections that I make on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
Facebook groups, all of this, like it feels like we may be pushing it a little bit far and farther than maybe a consumer wants us to push it. And I think we've just got to understand that. I think AI is a phenomenal tool. I am a huge fan of AI. I think it
Yeah.
can make our systems and processes easier, smarter, faster, more efficient.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but
For sure.
I don't want to miss out on that human component because at the end of the day, this industry is still built on relationships, and you
Oh, yeah.
may
Definitely.
consider that people may call that old school, but it is. And
Yeah.
when you have an old
Absolutely.
right, we're still a blue collar industry,
Yeah.
and we're still serving people. It's home service. It's called that for a reason. The industry is,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
I
I
want to see us lose that.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. So I do this podcast to bring awareness with everything that's going on. I started it, because of the technology, and you're right, it can get messy especially if you don't know the internals of it very well, and the tech stacks and what works, what doesn't work, all those things. And there's so much research and development going on with those things. I mean, every, 90 days to 120 days, you're getting brand new updates, so it changes everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, but my company, I have an AI consulting company and technology company as well. And I do this to bring awareness to just how everything's changing and talk to blue collar, uh, home services, roofing industries. I do HVAC, plumbing, all those things as well. Um, just, the main thing that we try to focus on, that I try to focus on with my company, and what I think people appreciate more than anything is the fact that AI is fantastic. It's great, right? But there has to be the HI, and you have human intelligence with artificial intelligence, and that it has to stay that way. And it wasn't meant to be solo. It was meant to work and twine with us. And I think that a lot of these companies right now are just trying to create these little tools and bots, and then they just let them go, and you don't have that human oversight that
yeah,
is so deeply needed. And that's something that we do and we provide. I have this huge team of people that work for me and do all these things, and it is a constant we overwatch system where we're watching all these systems and making sure that they're performing and adjusting as our customers need them to. because that's what it's about, right? Is that relationship. But what kind of tech stacks do y'all have right now? Do you know?
Yeah, totally. So, we operate off of I360, which is a Salesforce
Okay.
implementation.
Yeah.
That's our CRM, but we utilize Hatch for our lead management system. So
How
Hatch,
do you like it?
I love it. I love it.
What kind of automations does Hatch have? I've heard of it, but I'm not as familiar with it. We do a lot of our own tools. We build them out and tailor them to customers. So, but I always like getting new information on some of the other platforms. If they do it better than we can, then how do we make ours better too? I just like that.
Yep. Yeah, totally. So, Hatch has been a great tool for us. It really helps create automation in terms of the sequencing.
Uh-huh.
So, sequencing. So, they take, for instance, our lead booking cadence, right? We have a
Mhm.
7-day, very purposeful call, text, email cadence of being
Mhm.
able to get a call booked in from a lead opportunity into a customer appointment that's on our schedule. We
Right.
have a 120-day follow-up cycle. We have a rehash after so many months. Um, so
So Hatch does the automation for you then?
so the yes, they do the automation from the cadence
Okay.
perspective. It's still a human making the phone call. There's a human responding to the text messages, a human responding to the emails. Could we easily turn on an AI agent to answer those tomorrow? Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, we want to be able to provide a service that others can't. And I honestly think a lot of, AI came at a perfect time within the trades, right? The trades started seeing revenue soften because
Hmm.
demand started to soften, right? HVAC, I think they were saying in this year in total, shipments are going to be down 10%, 30% just in Q4
Right.
for HVAC shipments. Roofing has softened this year.
Yes.
So I look at it and think, okay, well, AI, softening of the industry, AI came in, so now the softening of the industry is going to cause cost correction, right? And people are going to start trying to figure out how to cut costs to be able to be profitable with the current
Right.
environment. And I think it came at the perfect time, and that's what's going to cause the over rotation of
Yeah.
it within the space, because you just had this perfect storm of AI tools entering in a soft economy. So it's going to be interesting. I think
Yeah, that's
I
a
think
good
a lot of
take
people.
on it. Yeah, that's a great take on it. Actually, Matt, and that's what we try not to do because we do a lot of the stuff ourselves, and we build it out to customize it so that it doesn't get over automated.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's saving money in other places
Yep.
and creating that ROI factor in everything that we do for the clients. So I think that's I think that unless you have somebody that can work with you on a day-to-day, week-to-week
Yep.
basis with your systems, then you're going to have that problem that you're referring to. And it's going to be over automated, and it's going to be kind of like on its a mind of its own, and
Right.
it's going to cause more problems, and then you're going to get a backlash type of scenario when that doesn't happen. And I I also got into real estate years ago, just dealing with so many developers and whatnot. And as some of my clients are brokers, and I help them with services like virtual assistants and stuff, where it's a little bit more automated tasks because realtors are on the go a lot. And I can already tell you that one of the industries that has been over automated is real estate. Um, yeah, it's been extremely over automated, and it still works really well, but I think there's got to be some kind of give and take on that coming soon. I think that's going to be a real issue, and it's going to happen with that throughout different industries as well. But
Yep.
there is a way to utilize it. You just have to work with people who don't just want to throw a bunch of tools at you. They want to sit down with
Right.
you and help you build out a system and oversee that system and kind of do the overwatch on it so that you can continue to grow and expand.
Yep. Absolutely. It's going to be, it's a balance, right?
Right.
It's a balance that we just have to be able to understand and not just look at it from a numbers perspective. I think we have to be looking at also how the AI can help us with when how can it make us work,
Better.
work smarter,
Smarter.
not harder or whatever. I prefer just to do both, but
Yeah.
how can it help us how can it help us be able to be better at what we do on a daily basis? And I think that's what we need to really be focusing on from an AI tool
Yeah.
perspective, because
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
that's the big lift. Because as revenues increase, if you have AI plugged into your operations
Hmm.
and within key areas of the business,
Right.
that's going to allow your revenue to grow without increasing the cost structure
Exactly.
of the overhead. So I think there's a really key play there that a lot of contractors are missing is that aspect of things.
Right.
'Cause that will ultimately help us with profitability as we see some corrections within the market.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Um, so if with technology being what it is, and your company is probably far more advanced than most of the companies that I talk to. Some of the companies I talk to still do file cabinets. They're doing 10 million a
Right.
year, 5 million a year, and they're still doing file cabinets. They don't even have, they just use their computer for emails. So, and I create tech stacks and different things and, integrate CRMs with them and, that are cost efficient to where they're at, right?
Right.
So, yours case is a lot different. So you guys are one of the bigger boys in town for sure. So what, at the end of the day, where do you think your biggest problem is? Where would you like things to be fixed or better, where y'all could grow more?
Yeah, I would say just finding the small areas in which we can deploy AI to be able to have an impact. I think everyone, right, as a business, it makes sense to start at the things that are going to impact you the most, right? We got
Right,
to, the low hanging fruit. We've got to go after those. That just makes sense
right,
from a business perspective. But then
right.
going to the point of how can we find small things that we can do to look at automation. So, as
Yeah.
we're helping a consumer navigate some of the conversations with maybe insurance, right? How can we help create some automations to just keep people updated on where we are or they are throughout the process, right?
Oh
So,
yeah.
uh, and just a lot of things in the roofing space is just none
Right.
of this is science, right? None of this is a silver bullet. None of this will revolutionize a
No.
business, right? But
Like what
businesses
you
that
talk about with the automation and the insurance. So, like my team would take that information, take the insurance companies where we're communicating with insurance companies and the clients and you guys. So it's a three-party system that's a constant streamline of automation and communication.
right,
So the little things like that, though, but that takes a lot of time away from out of your day. So when you put that system in place, it saves you time, it saves you money, and it helps you grow and helps feed the system. So those are just different things that you can do. Um, you know, I find it fascinating every day. I mean, 6 months ago, um, the tools were 10,000 AI tools. Now there's 40, 60. Well, the last update is around 56,000. So
right.
it's just crazy. It's just insane how it works.
It's easy to create a bot.
Yeah, but the bots don't, I don't do bots. I do workflows a lot more than I do bots. I create workflows that allow for automation and streamline,
Yep.
that are intertwined with like a person's systems already, their emails, their calendars, their CRMs, all the things that's going on. I use that to automate and I create these workflows where everything's connected and working correctly and all the communications are talking correctly. So,
Right.
why bots are great, for your tedious task. I think for your overall picture of trying to create things where you want like the small thing over here, the small thing, you want these things running more efficiently. I think the workflows that you can create, because workflows are custom, you can tailor them like down to the just the finest tip of a pen, and I really enjoy those because I think those help my clients more than anything does.
Right. Yeah, and I think, I think operationally, your workflows are key, right? Because you can
They
create
have to be.
predictability in that. Where I've seen the bots be helpful or the agents be helpful is really looking at, like we were doing a task of, hey, let's find all of the home shows within our markets. Let's find all
Yeah.
the parades within our markets. Let's find all the Chamber of Commerces within our
Right.
market. Right. And it would be a manual process that would literally probably take someone several weeks to
Oh
knock out.
yeah.
We can literally get our zip code list, give it to a bot, create a really useful prompt, and you're at
Mhm.
within several minutes, you're going
Oh,
to
it's
have
done.
of all of it done, contact information, links to join, all of this stuff. And
That's why I say the bots are great for your tedious tasks
right,
that take all that time. They're great.
it's like
Um,
back in the day when you had, what was it, Amazon Turk,
yeah,
where you offshore a bunch of very menial tasks.
yeah,
That's what AI is, just much more efficient and accurate.
right. Yeah, that's funny. I forgot about that.
The
Um,
heyday thing.
yeah, absolutely. So where do you think y'all would say the most money, like time, money? What do you think you could improve with the function of your business that would do the most good, be the most productive for your growth and just time management, money management wise, um, for scaling?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a specific answer for that.
Yeah.
Mainly because I believe businesses, the big dollars are driven by small incremental improvements across the business,
Right.
and a series of them that come together to create a big impact. Um, I think it could be anywhere between, okay, here's what our financing process is, right? When a customer goes through financing, how do we create workflows and experiences around that? When we're looking at like I said, back to the customer journey, our review responses, all of that stuff that we've utilized some automation to
Yeah.
be workflows to be able to execute. Um, I think those all coming together are a big change, but I would say every area of the business we could still utilize AI in some fashion to be able to
Yeah,
help
there's
support.
nowhere you really can't try to apply it if you do it correctly and take your time and really look and see what function would make it the most, make the most sense for whatever you're trying to correct. Um, for sure. Um, yeah, so no major frustrations that you have with inside your internal workings.
No, not really, because I think we've been able to utilize it to the point of where um, where we're comfortable. I think it will
Yeah,
continue to evolve and we'll go deeper
yeah,
into it as we get more confidence and see the proven out results. But I mean,
yeah.
even when you look at the marketing side, right? When you're talking about email content creation, social media
Hmm.
content creation, things like that, that you can have a bot. You have to have a human create the initial, but then from a
Right.
versioning perspective, why not version it out? Uh,
Yeah,
utilizing AI. So it has the same base message, and you can tell it, hey, here are the words that we want to be using. Here is our key messaging.
right.
Here's all the phrases you would hear within our business. Here's the tone that we want you to write in. Here's the personality, right? You do all of that correctly. You can create a really cohesive user experience from a
Oh yeah.
content perspective.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes it's even easier just simplifying it and running certain ad content with Facebook and
Yeah.
everything because y'all, I mean, it's just reaching out there and putting yourself out there, letting yourself be known. And once they dive deeper, you have your great customer service that, is already set up. So y'all have all these big things in place, which is, fabulous. How is your marketing on social media? What is that going pretty good?
Yeah.
Are y'all wanting to get more? Or are y'all pretty well where you want to be?
Yeah, so I would say we're super excited about where we're at from a social media perspective. We have two team members that focus on our social media channels,
That's great.
primarily looking at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
Hmm.
uh, and they do a phenomenal job making sure we're posting at least once a day,
That's
making
nice.
sure it's relative content, making sure that it's specific to that location or brand. Being in Florida, over in Colorado, and then in the Midwest, you got to think about seasonality, right? So pictures can't be the same. You can't be talking about snow in Florida. That generally doesn't work well.
No, not usually.
So them being able to control that messaging and be able to keep it all streamlined has been really beneficial. We're big believers. We don't do a ton of Facebook ads, just because of the way our brand is and kind of our belief, we don't do a ton of like promotions, right? We're going to give you a price. We're not going to mark it up 20% just to give you a 20% discount.
Yeah.
Even honest the price, and we're probably not going to negotiate on it. And that's completely fine, because that's who we are. and
Yeah.
we just got to own it. And so when we do a lot more boosted posts. If we do ads, it's talking about maybe financing that we have available. Maybe we're talking about that we have no upfront payments or no down payments, right? And just some of these
Yeah,
things.
I think that's the best way to do social media because people are gonna look at the ad if they're having an issue, right? And those are the people you're trying to
Yep.
reach in the dark, right? And I think that it doesn't have to be big. It definitely doesn't have to be promotional. It just has to be, about whatever they need fixed, right? So whatever that is, just something to grab them, and then when they dive further, they're able to see y'all have already got your system in place. So yeah, definitely have an advantage there, a presence that is, excellent there. But I think I know that you had talked about going into TV and all that, and I think that's great. But for the people, and this is what I'm finding is like your 30-year-olds, your first time home buyers, and your people who are starting new families, your late 20s and 30s, they're on social media more than they are on anything.
Yep.
And so I think that is a Facebook and things like that are a huge market, especially for something like you guys are already set for the inflow. So I think it's substantial there. But I'm sure your marketing team sounds pretty good. They probably already know that too. But
Yeah, it's been interesting, right? Because we've got to obviously target, typical homeowners, right?
mhm.
Which typically we hire in customers from our perspective because we're never going to be the cheapest in town. That's just not our game.
Yeah,
We're really focused on bringing peace of mind and a really stellar customer experience and communication flow.
mhm.
So you have the generation that's currently buying, but you also have to position your marketing to be enticing to the generation that's going to be buying, right? So that's
Mhm.
why we have to constantly, it's a balancing act because you
It
can't
is.
either direction, or you set yourself up for either long-term or short-term failure.
Right.
So really it's finding that middle ground, finding people where they're at, looking at OTT options, looking at, social media, being able to use these different mediums to link and create content that's pertinent and engaging with them, and then
Right.
bring it all together. It's not easy. It's not, but it's also not rocket science. You just got
No, I mean you've just got to
psychology.
find that groove and run some test studies, and then you find your groove and you kind of run with it, and that's where it's at. But again, your marketing team sounds great. Obviously, they know what they're doing simply because y'all have been doing this for so long, and you've already had so many trial and errors. That gives you the advantage to keep pushing forward and dominating in the
Yeah,
area.
we definitely have errors. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate you coming on today, especially at the level you guys are at. That's fantastic that y'all are doing what you're doing, and you coming in 2 years in and having the resources you have to continue the growth is pretty amazing, pretty awesome. But
Yeah, it's been.
yeah, so we really appreciate you coming on and your input, and you had great insight, on technology and where things are going. And I mean, I honestly, after we met the first time, I didn't expect anything less from you, but it's refreshing that you're up to date on it like you are. That's really good.
Totally appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you, Amy.
All right, you have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye
All
bye.
right, thank you again.